a strep throat.
30 seconds. My daughter has it too.
Oh, really? She's been sick.
Avery had Saturday, her temp was 102.3.
She got sick Saturday night.
Avery got it Friday night.
She was in the bed all day Sunday, all day
It
Monday.
was rough Saturday.
She's out of the bed today.
Oh, yeah. So she complains Friday night that her throat hurts. And low grade, and I was like, it's
5, 4,
about 2 a.m.
3.
crying.
Good evening and welcome to the January 16th meeting of the Poquoson City School Board. Let's go ahead and just dive right on in with Mr. Brown.
Today our pledge leader is Brandon Flores. He is a senior at Poquoson High School. He is a member of the varsity tennis team on which he has played for 4 years. He serves as the SCA Treasurer, Teens for Troops Secretary. Brandon is also a member of Key Club, FCA, National Honor Society, Academic Challenge, Scholastic Bowl, and Math Honor Society. He has been involved with Chow Gai Kung Fu since 2007 and is a youth leader for the Joint Base Langley-Fort Eustis Youth Ministry.
Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our inspirational reader is Haley Hudgens. She is a junior at Poquoson High School who is also interested in majoring in natural resources at Virginia Tech upon graduation. Through her high school years, she has participated in Key Club, Teens for Troop, International Club, Spanish Club, Save the Next Girl, and volunteers as a special friend. Haley has also been a part of the Poquoson High School soccer team for the past 4 years and intends to play her senior year as well.
I would like to address the following 4 quotes authored by J.K. Rowling. Imagination is not only the uniquely human capacity to envision that which is not and therefore the fount of all invention and innovation. In its arguably and most transformative and revelatory capacity, it is the power that enables us to empathize with humans whose experience we have not yet shared. The knowledge that you have emerged wiser and stronger from setbacks means that you are ever after secure in your abilities to survive. It is our choices that show what we truly are far more than our abilities. We do not need magic to change the world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already. We have the power to imagine better. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley, and thank you, Brandon. Our next item is student presentation from Poquoson High School on the Veterans Project. I'm very excited about this one. Under the guidance of Ms. Becky Morrison, the Poquoson Veterans Project empowers students in advanced placement U.S. history at the high school to combine project-based learning and service learning. Through their interviews and investigations, students built lasting relationships with local veterans and have learned firsthand lessons about military service, geography, culture, and the scars of war. These students will share some of the experiences with us tonight. Morgan Fairbanks, Marissa Knight, Leah Spradlin, Rachel Sue, Jacob Moore, and Jessica McMasters. And students, when you're finished, if you don't mind, please stay for a few minutes after your presentation. We like to come out, take a break, and talk to you all about the project.
Okay, thank you. I'm Becky Morrison. I teach U.S. History and AP U.S. History at Poquoson High School. And so last spring, I was at a baseball game at Smithwood High School, and I got an email from Dr. Parrish that literally would change my life, and their lives too. And I know that sounds dramatic, but I think after you hear what they have to say, you'll agree. So she said, you need to apply for this program because it's got your name written all over it. And I said, okay. So I was accepted into the Friends of the World War II Teachers Network and Conference, and I and 47 other teachers from across the country were immersed in World War II, week-long lectures. We got to meet veterans, we got to meet some Tuskegee Airmen, and it was just fantastic. So at the end of the week, they said, okay, each of you are charged with going back to your school and doing a community service project with your kids. And so it started out this big, and after I presented to the kids, it just grew and grew and grew. And they have just jumped in with both feet, and I couldn't be prouder of them. So, oh, and if you've never been to the World War II Memorial, you have to go. It's amazing, and especially at night. So.
Thanks to the hard work put in by Ms. Morrison, we were able to meet and interview veterans from our community. The project started with each of us picking a partner and then being assigned a veteran that either served in World War II, the Vietnam War, or the Korean War. On interview day, we met with our veterans at the Poquoson High School in the forum and sat down at a table with them, ate a little bit of food, and were able to interview them and ask them questions about their experiences and get some really useful firsthand information that you simply cannot get from a textbook. Once we got this information, we were able to compile it and then put it into an autobiography, or sorry, not an autobiography, but a biography. The hopes of that is that we can take these biographies of our veterans from our community and donate them to the Poquoson Museum and the Friends of the World War II Memorial.
So at the day of the interview, all the students were waiting by the door. We were so excited to meet our veterans, and the veteran would come through the door and they would go with their students and go to the forum where the students had prepared food for them. Me and Marissa, we made red, white, and blue cupcakes for a veteran, which he really loved. And then we sat down with them and we talked to them about their experiences during and before and after the war, and some of them really struggled. Our veteran, Mr. Ordendorf, he went through a lot. He helped liberate the concentration camp, Dachau, and he had a lot of struggles after when he came home. He felt that people didn't care about veterans anymore. So it was really nice that he got to be a part of this experience with us because he learned, students still really care and we love our veterans, and it was so nice to meet him. And we all have a new appreciation for our veterans and a new respect, and it was really nice.
So interview day was a really great experience, learning about the veterans and what they went through, and it was great to see them after that day as well. We were able to really connect with them by doing things like stuffing and delivering stockings, and seeing them participate in the homecoming parade and doing the coin toss at some sporting events. And Leah and I got invited to our veterans' 94th birthday party, which was really special. And we also got to be on WHRO, which was really cool. And it was just a really amazing experience, and we were really able to understand and appreciate them more.
So this is a picture of Mr. Ray Carmines, and he's being escorted out onto the field to do the coin toss. So every home game, there was a different veteran that went out onto the field to do the coin toss, and afterwards, the veterans got to keep the coins, and they thought it was really cool. And then another thing that happened was several different veterans from our project were escorted out onto the field, and they got to stand out there during the national anthem. And one of the things that was really cool for us was they came to us afterwards, and several of them were saying how it was just such a great experience for them, because when they came home from the war so many years ago, people would call them names and they just felt like no one liked them and they weren't respected for what they had done, and they finally got this opportunity to be honored. So.
Thanks to Ms. Morrison, the Poquoson Education Foundation was generous enough to give us a grant which allowed us to visit the Marine Corps Museum with our veterans, and it was really special because we got to hear about their experiences and perspectives from that time. It was a great mix of hands-on and traditional learning, and it was really special because we hadn't gotten to hear firsthand experiences. Through this project, we were able to learn from the knowledge and wisdom as well as personal experiences of our veterans and form personal relationships with them as well. So that was really nice.
So while we were in DC, we also visited the World War II Memorial, the Korean Memorial, and the Vietnam Memorial, which was just a unique way of really taking the time to thank and just show appreciation for what our veterans have sacrificed for our freedom. And for me personally, that's my veteran up there, LaDawn Kramer. And we got to visit the Women's Vietnam Memorial, and she was there when the memorial was dedicated, and it was really unique to relive that experience with her. So overall, this project has given us the opportunity to form strong relationships with members of our community that we would not normally even probably meet. And we get to thank them, and we get to form bonds with them and thank them for their service and time. I can't thank Ms. Morrison enough for this opportunity, and the Poquoson Education Foundation and all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison, for leading that group, and to the students who participated. And obviously, it had a profound effect on all of you, and that's a wonderful program. Dr. Parrish, do we have any additions or modifications to the agenda?
We do not this evening.
Okay, then I think we have a couple of recognitions tonight.
We sure do. While Ms. Whitaker moves to the podium, I'm going to invite our volunteer of the month, Mr. Mike Bryant, to come forward. Mike Bryant has been the voice of Islander baseball for almost 11 years. He worked the PA at all home, JV, and varsity baseball games with the grace, dignity, and enthusiasm of a professional announcer. In 2012, he added varsity and JV football to his resume and began to do home games for the Islander JV team on Wednesday nights and the varsity games on Friday nights. In 2014, he added girls and boys basketball games to his resume as well. He comes each night, one of them has a home game, to make sure the starting lineups and national anthem are done in a professional manner that represents our school in the correct fashion. In the fall of 2015, he added girls volleyball to an already very full plate. He once again shows up to make sure the starting lineups are done with true Islander pride and the national anthem is given the respect it deserves. Through all of this, Mike has never once asked for compensation or gifts, but just so through his love for all Poquoson athletics. More than one fan, both home and opposing, has commented about the professional nature in which he does business during the games. He gives every PHS sporting event a professional and polished atmosphere. Mike has also spent many years doing the same for youth football in the city of Poquoson on Saturdays. You can drive by Poquoson Middle School and hear the same voice you heard at the Friday night high school game, creating the same atmosphere for all of the Saturday youth football games. Mike Bryant has become, of the last 11 years, a very positive and important part of the athletic department. He takes great pride in his role as the voice of the Islanders. Please join me in thanking and congratulating Mike for being the Volunteer of the Month. And as one who attends many games, I also appreciate the work that you do, and thank you so much, because it really does mean a lot to us. Next, we'd like to bring Brandon Flores up. Brandon is the Senior of the Month. While we heard a little bit about this young man as he led our Pledge of Allegiance earlier this evening, we are excited to honor Brandon Flores as our Student of the Month. Brandon is an exceptional student taking multiple advanced placement courses at PHS. He previously attended Norfolk Summer Leadership Camp and BLAST program at the University of Virginia. He is a hardworking and dependable young man who enjoys volunteering his time with a number of community organizations. After high school, Brandon would like to continue his studies by majoring in the field of biology and continue his education to earn a doctorate of pharmacy. Most recently, Brandon has received a congressional approval for both the Naval and Air Force academies. Please join us in congratulating the January Student of the Month, Brandon Flores.
We're going to take that quick break now so we can come out and chat.
Gotta keep rehearsing. I'm gonna mess it up.
No, now you've got me.
I'm going to have congestion. That's right. Excuse me.
Good game done, my friend. Look good. Listen, I'm doing it. Yeah, really. It is, yeah, first and
I'll fix this. Yeah. Can you get on? Did I have internet access?
How are you doing?
Stay later. Okay, we just educate left and right.
All right.
All right, I would sing for you.
How are you tonight?
Sorry.
Starts at 8:50.
Happy to.
Oh, wow.
He's like,
Do you know after Garrett? 757
Becky Morrison's husband's birthday is today, so she has no
6.
happy birthday.
She's an honorary Christmas City Public Schools.
Yeah, he is, pretty much. Yes, he
Oh,
is. I can say that's true.
And we are back. First up, under presentations and reports, we have two special guests. Bert Schmidt is WHRO President and CEO, and Brian Callahan, WHRO Vice President of Education. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, members of the board, Dr. Parrish. My name is Bert Schmidt, and Brian Callahan, my Chief Education Officer, is here. He's here in case any of you have hard questions, because he's the man. Many of you are new to the board since I was here 2 years ago, so just to refresh why I'm even here is you are one of the 19 school divisions that literally owns WHRO. WHRO was founded in 1961 by 2 school divisions. They created Homeroom 1, which is what WHRO stands for. And it started with 2 divisions. Now we're at 19 school divisions, including Poquoson. So you invest every year $2 per student, and you get a whole host of services. And so I'm here tonight just to remind you of the products and services you get as an owner of WHRO. I know you've got hard copies of this report. I'm going to refer to this report. You get it every year, but I come out just every 2 years. I guess the superintendents were tired of me every year. And so just to give you a quickie summary of just what's been going on as part of your relationship with WHRO. First off, looking at page 1 of the report, I just want to thank the leadership from Poquoson. Of course, Dr. Parrish has been a leader for a long time within the division, the senior superintendent of the region right now, and that's not age, that is tenure. I should also mention that she's on my governing board, so we have such great respect for her that she's on the board that actually will hire or fire me. So thank you for all the work that you've been doing on many committees and does a lot of work for us. And Jennifer Mostetler is your rep representing this board and the ownership board. So and we meet quarterly with the school board members. So thank you for that. And Brandon, who I know is hiding back there, making sure the TV station is operating, is quite involved in lots of the committees as well. So thanks to him. Getting into the report, page 2, our educator resources and training. eMedia VA is an online repository of digital learning objects, things that teachers can use in the classroom, digital things, video, audio, games, apps, lesson plans. It is a free service. We have a contract with the Virginia Department of Education. They provide us the funding to make this free statewide, so every public, private, and homeschooler has access to eMedia VA. Every one of your students has accounts. We have a single sign-on solution here in the division, so when your teachers or students sign in, log in, they're automatically in eMedia VA. We have 170,000 accounts throughout the state and 140,000 learning objects at the moment. These learning objects are then embedded into a lot of the online courses you're going to hear about. So, of course, students want digital content in the classroom, and this is the source for it. We have relationships at the national level with Smithsonian, National Archives, Library of Congress, but probably more importantly, we have lots of relationships within Virginia with organizations that have great content that can be used in the classroom, and it just brings to life things that your teachers are teaching. So we're excited about the service, and we know your teachers are as well. Items 2, 3, and 4 are various professional development services we offer. We've got online professional development where teachers can get graduate credit or recertification. We have special topic forums. We have other professional educational development like coding activities for teachers. And your teachers take advantage of that. I would note on page 3, item 5, we are also in the workforce development space. I know this isn't directly related to your work. But we have a site called Skills Online. We offer about 4,000 courses in 18 different industry sectors. We have a GED program. Most of these courses are tuition-based, but they can be as cheap as $20. Some go thousands of dollars depending on the course, but there's a whole workplace effort that we do at WHRO. Page 4, student services. One of the big things you get with the station, and the thing the superintendents have been driving for many years, are the online courses. We have built a number of high school level online courses. We're like the manufacturer, and then we give them to you, and you use them however you want. So you can see the list in the second paragraph. Algebra, trig, astronomy, biology, chemistry, earth science, economics and personal finance, English 9, 10, 11, and 12, French 1, geometry, health and PE 9 and 10, math analysis, oceanography, physics, psychology, Virginia U.S. history, Virginia and U.S. government, world geography, and world history 1 and 2. We make the courses, we give them to you, you use them however you want. We know you use the economics and personal finance course, for example, extensively. In fact, your teachers are working with my team as we develop the next version, the next generation of economics and personal finance. We really appreciate your involvement there. We've also learned that often teachers simply want a video of the lesson they may have taught that day. So we started last year working with the Department of Education. We created a video course, different than the online courses. Online courses are going to be an interactive experience, but the video course is simply a teacher in front of a camera, kind of old school, the way we did it back in the 60s, teacher in front of a camera teaching that day's lesson. So right now we have algebra and geometry, Every single class that a child would sit through the entire school year are now available. So you've got a snow day, you've got a child sick, whatever reason the child's missing that class, every single class is now available through eMedia VA, free. We've used master teachers, so algebra and geometry were requested. Superintendents have asked for earth science, and we are about to be in production, or within days now being in production for that. That will be available for the next school year, and we'll continue the video courses as well. So something that your schools have been asking for. Page 5, we love to celebrate smart kids. And we do that in a number of ways. So item 2, the PBS Kids Writers Contest. You weren't involved last year. I don't know if there's a conflict. You often are very involved. These are kids K through 5. They write a story, illustrate a story, submit it. And we actually take the winners. We take their stories and their drawings and we animate them and make them into a TV show. So the children see their characters come to life. And so hopefully your classes K through 5 will get some entries again this year from the division. Item 3, the spelling bee. You've been involved for a long time. Somebody was asking. February 17th, you've got your student from Poquoson Middle School who's in there. Whoever that, I don't know if you've had the bee yet here, but that champ will be live on WHRO on the 17th. It starts at 2 o'clock. Mark your calendars for that day. The winner, of course, goes on to DC to the National Spelling Bee Finals. This is our 11th year. We do not have that national champion yet, but hopefully Poquoson will come up with that student soon. Item 4, the Great Computer Challenge we've been doing for 32 years at this point, I guess it's been. Teams from K through 12 compete in various software applications and software. You can see you had 9 teams, all in the junior division, I might add, but they did quite well. You should be very proud of that. Love to see some folks in the senior level, the high school level, going forward, but again, there may be conflicts, but we're thrilled with your participation. And I just want to point out another item here, item 6. If you're a viewer of WHRO at all, you've seen Dr. Parrish on our air a lot over many, many, many years, but the same spot for a long time. And we just came out, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and you just saw the presentation that these kids did, the Veterans Project, so we're highlighting that effort. And so starting in February, there will be a new Education Now spot, which we highlight the best activities going on in the division from all of our 19 divisions. So there'll be a new Poquoson spot starting next month with Dr. Parrish and all these great kids that just did their presentation to you. That'll be, the whole region will learn about that. So you should be proud of that and look for it if you're a viewer of WHRO. They'll be coming up pretty soon. I know you'll be happy to see a new spot because you've had the same spot for a long time. Skipping over to page 8, our Family and Early Learner Services. At the moment, you're not taking advantage of these. I will remind you, it doesn't cost the division anymore. You've already made your $2 per student payment. So all of these services, whether it's our STEM van, our reading camps, our secret agent camps, our coding camps, our reading buddies, literacy vans, library corners, reader schools, anytime is learning time, all these services are available. If you let your professionals who are working with the preschool, say to maybe 3rd grade, if they know about this, our folks would be glad to connect and coordinate. But there's all these great services. And again, cost of the division, nothing. It's part of your investment in WHRO. Of course, as school board members, what you care about is the bottom line. So page 11 shows you the financial impact on all of this. You can see your investment last year was shy of $8,000, and you received last year savings in value of over $688,000. For every dollar invested, you got a $90 return. I don't know if your brokers are doing quite that for you, but and we hope you like that return, and I'm happy to take any questions.
The report is aptly named, What an Impact.
Well, thank you for that.
Have on the community, actually the entire region, so thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, take care. Thanks.
Thank you for coming tonight. All right, we're going to move on to financial update. Ms. Woodruff?
Good evening, Vice Chair Whitaker, members of the school board, and Dr. Parrish. For the finance report this evening, I want to update the board on the revised calculation tool received for FY18. As you know, the school divisions receive a calculation tool from the Department of Education, and once this received, staff update the average daily membership based on the most recent enrollment data. The FY18 budget was based on 2,031 students, and based on the most recent enrollment data, we estimate that our final ADM will be 2,092, or 61 more students. This increase in students will result in approximately $207,000 in more revenue, which will be used to cover the cost of 2 additional teachers that were hired at the end of August related to the increased enrollment. It will also cover some one-time funding, which includes costs we have related to getting the estimates for the consolidation considerations, as well as any upcoming middle school project studies that need to be done. However, this figure may change once we get the final March ADM, which is what it's based on for the final for the year. And Dr. Parrish will be presenting an FY19 update to the board at the work session immediately following this meeting. And that concludes my report.
Any questions? Any comments? Thank you very much. Okay, next we'll move to operations update. Mr. Pappas.
Good evening, school board, Dr. Parrish. In the area of transportation, PCPS bus drivers will be participating in the second of 2 in-services that take place each year. And among those topics to be covered this next week will be bullying, disruptive behavior, accident protocol, and emergency situations. Custodial services was quite busy over the break and did a great job of cleaning the buildings in preparation for everyone's return, and additionally, all of the classrooms were disinfected. In the area of plant operations, in addition to completing several key annual preventive maintenance projects, the maintenance department was able to get many other work orders completed. The home run fence was installed at the softball field just in time for girls softball this spring. Last but not least, maintenance did a great job of snow removal last week. In the area of food services, you all know the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act changed the way schools across the country prepare and deliver meals. Additionally, the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act required that school boards modify their wellness plans, which you all did several months ago. Concurrent with that, PCPS modified an S-reg that helps us identify who's to do what and when. Part of the thrust from the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act was to have schools integrate wellness vertically throughout the curriculum. They want us to do farm to school. They want us to deal with it vertically, if you will. Well, to that end, PCPS has now introduced a garden tower. In fact, we have numerous ones. A garden tower is an object about the size of this. It has 50 pockets, if you will, in which 50 seedlings, which the children are actually germinating currently, will be planted. The maintenance department has actually modified this device so that we can water it when the students are gone over breaks and during the summer, and we can wheel it outside. Anyhow, this gives children a great form of experiential learning. It helps to integrate what we're doing into the classrooms. Teachers have embraced this. It's just wonderful. We have this cadre of teachers who are so excited, and they're logging the growth and counting how many gallons of water we're putting in. And students will be involved, as I said, from germination right through to harvest and consumption. And we're very excited about this project. And that concludes my speech for the evening.
Comments for Mr. Pappas?
Mr. Pappas, I have one, sir. With the in-service for the bus drivers, you said there were several things they were going to cover.
Yeah, and this is just a small sample of the many things we will cover, but bullying, disruptive behavior, accident protocol, and emergency situations. Yes, sir.
Dr. Fox, instructional update, please.
Good evening, Vice Chair Whitaker, board members, and Dr. Parrish. My update for you this evening will be an overview of the program of studies changes, which you'll be voting on later this evening. some CTE course information, and dates from our recent inclement weather when we're going to be making up time. So just as a reminder, this is information we talked about last month in our work session, but just so that publicly folks will know what we have done and where we are with our process. In September, faculty and staff members submitted changes for the program of studies. Our committee met in October and December, and members of that committee are our high school and middle school counseling directors, our high school and middle school principals, our STEM and PBL staff. Those are our two grants, our science, technology, engineering, and math, and then our project-based learning. Both of those directors are on the Program of Studies Committee, as well as central office staff. The proposed changes, as I shared, were shared with you last month. We went through each of those, and then again tonight you're going to be voting on those proposed changes. Just as a reminder, here are the additions to the Program of Studies. At the high school level, we're adding digital marketing, military science and leadership, sports medicine 2, English 12 honors dual enrollment, and the Aviation Academy program, which has a multitude of different courses within it. And then at the middle school level, we're going to add Chorus 6, computer coding and programming, creative writing, and forensic science 1 and forensic science 2. And just as an aside, a lot of those courses are in our CTE program. We wanted to just tap into a couple of data points for you tonight. You'll see that we have a slight uptick in enrollment in overall CTE courses this year, moving from 490 to 498 last year. So we're hoping to see that increase continue over the next couple of years. What kinds of courses are our students taking in the CTE area? So this chart lists for you, these are the courses at the high school that our teachers are teaching and instructing on site in the different areas within CTE. So business and information technology, you can see the econ and personal finance that WHRO referenced, keyboarding, desktop publishing, introduction to programming. Family and consumer science, there's a number of courses listed there. Our health and medical sciences program, which we're growing over the past couple of years. Our marketing education program, and then technology education. So we just wanted you to get a sense of the different courses. These are on site at the high school that our students are taking. The next slide shows you the courses where they go as 11th and 12th graders. They travel to the New Horizons program, either at the Woodside campus or the Butler Farm campus. And these are the different types of courses our students are taking there. In automotive technology, construction technology, engineering and manufacturing, public service, health services, human services, and information technology. And many of these CTE courses, both at this high school and at the New Horizons program, offer our students the opportunity to sit for exams where they can earn industry certifications before they leave high school. Next steps, going back to our program of studies, once approved tonight, we'll post it online. Once all the final revisions are made, we'll also have a few copies printed that will be housed in our school counseling offices. In February, just in a couple of weeks, our students will begin the course registration process. So in 5th through 11th grade, students will be signing up for courses, reviewing information with their parents and their school counselors. Our Rising 6th grade parent meeting at the middle school is on Tuesday, February 13th. And the Rising Freshman Parent Information Night at the high school is on Monday, January the 29th. So those dates will be here before we know it. And lastly, tonight, I just wanted to remind everyone that our 2 inclement weather days have been scheduled. We're trying to publicize them everywhere and anywhere we can think of, so we figured we'd give them to you one more time tonight. So Monday, January the 29th, and Monday, February the 19th are both going to be full student and staff days for everyone in Poquoson. That concludes my report this evening. You're welcome.
Questions or comments for Dr. Fox?
Great, thank you.
Oh, wait, we do have one. Dr. Carter?
I always have questions. Is the 498 just high school students?
Just high school,
Okay.
yes. 701.
Roughly?
701.
701, own it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Reimers, do we have any public comment tonight? No, okay. Ms. Sheeler, would you present the consent agenda, please?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 4 items that are on our consent agenda this evening. First is approval of financial reports. The second is the approval of personnel action. The third is the authorization to change appropriation and to accept and expend in accordance with attached request. And the last, approval of minutes of December's regular meeting and work session.
Thank you, Ms. Sheeler. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? And a second? Any questions, comments about the?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Ms. Sheeler?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Carter?
Abstain.
Vice Chair Whitaker?
Aye.
Motion passes 6, 1 abstention.
Okay, other matters for consideration. The first item is election of PCPS board officers. Dr. Perry?
Yes, as everyone may be aware, Mr. Steve Cass resigned from the board, and he was the board chair for you. So your policy does require you at the next regular meeting, because he resigned from his position in December, that you do elect a board chair. So that is why this is on your agenda this evening. So I will now turn to our vice chair to begin that process.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to open the floor for a motion for chairman, and I am going to be very myself and be outspoken tonight. As vice chair, I would like to nominate Dr. Carter as chairman of the board. Dr. Carter has served on the board in the past and served as chairman and did an excellent job. So that is my nomination. Do we have a second? Questions, discussion, comments?
Welcome back, Dr. Carter.
Great. Ms. Reimers?
Mr. Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Ms. Sheeler?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Carter?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And look, the gavel's right here.
Don't you have to swap chairs or something? I don't know.
Do that.
Musical chairs.
Thank you very much. Next up, consideration.
Yes, as Dr. Fox presented to you and as you discussed in the work session last month where we first presented these changes to the program study that we're bringing forward to you this evening. So we are recommending that you do vote to approve those changes to the program of study so that we can then begin to send the information out to our students and parents as they begin the registration process.
I have a motion to approve the secondary program of studies.
So moved.
Second. Second. Questions, comments there? Okay, Ms. Reimers.
Mr. Holcomb?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
My
sorry.
apologies.
I just
My
wanted to
apologies.
make one comment. It was so exciting to read about all of those programs. It just made me wish I was another high school student just to be able to take some of those courses. So congratulations for putting together a really exciting booklet of opportunities. Sorry.
Anybody else? All right, Ms. Reimers.
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Ms. Sheeler?
Aye.
Aye.
Vice Chair Whitaker?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Next up, consideration of approval.
Yes, as you may well remember, we do have a partnership with the school in the Czech Republic, and they send some of their students to us in the fall, and they stay in our students' homes and have a variety of experiences with them. And then each spring, we have some of our students go to visit them, and they will stay in the homes of the students who came to see us, and will experience the Czech Republic while they're there. It is obviously an international trip, so we do bring this trip forward for your approval each year. It does occur during the spring break timeframe, and it does not come at a cost to the school division. The students actually cover their cost for it, and we do have a chaperone whose cost is also covered that attends that trip. So I recommend approval of the extended field trip to the Czech Republic this evening.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the extended field trip to Czech.
Second.
Questions, comments there? And we actually had a Czech student stay with us.
Mr. Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Ms. Hessel.
Aye.
Ms. Sheeler.
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Aye.
Chairman Carter.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Tax 7.6, absences, unified leave. Dr. Parrish.
Yes, this is coming to you as your second reading of a policy change. What we've brought to you is to add the language to our policy that allows our employees to also take time if their son or daughter-in-law are ill. Had not included them previously in the list of immediate family members, but believe it's appropriate to do so. So I ask that tonight you approve the second reading of policy 5-7.6, which would allow our employees to do so.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve policy change 5?
So moved.
Second.
Got it. You got all that, Ms. Reimers? Any questions or comments there? Parrish, for clarification, that was son-in-law.
Correct, yes.
All right, Ms. Reimers, could you call for a vote, please?
Mr. Holcomb.
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller.
Aye.
Ms. Hessel.
Aye.
Ms. Sheeler.
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Vice Chair Whitaker.
Aye.
Chairman Carter.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Next up is consideration of approval of proclamation of National School Counselors Week and school principals. School counselors actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development. They help parents focus on ways to further the educational, personal, and social growth of their educators, and their comprehensive developmental school counseling programs success in school. And school principals work cooperatively to direct, develop, and inspire all members of the school staff and student body effectively with parents to engage them in the learning process, serve as educational leaders. They're responsible for schools, and they have to collaborate with staff, students, parents, and the community at large. Small task in itself, and to appreciate both principals and school counselors. I have a motion to approve the proclamation. Second?
Second.
Any questions, comments there? Timers.
Mr. Holcomb.
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller.
Aye.
Ms. Hessel.
Aye.
Ms. Sheeler.
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Vice Chair Whitaker.
Aye.
Dr. Carter.
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you. Next up, communication of matters for school board and superintendent.
Yes, thank you. And first, I'd like to officially welcome you on the board, Dr. Carter, and it's a pleasure having you with us again. And thank you for stepping up into a leadership role upon appearing on the board. But we look forward to working closely with you for you in the coming months. I cannot go this evening without talking about the weather. So let's talk about last week. First, I want to thank folks for their assistance last week. I'd like to especially thank Mr. Pappas because he is side by side in every decision-making that we do, and we spent quality time together on the roads last week and in front of school buildings and everything else you can think of to do with weather. So thank you, Mr. Pappas, for the work that you continue to do when we have these inclement weather days. As I know the community is aware, a lot of factors go into our decision-making when we make decisions about closing or delaying or opening late. So we will continue to be very diligent in gathering the information needed to make those decisions. Many of you probably know at about 5:45, right before our meeting started, that we have made the decision tomorrow morning at this point to come into school on time, but to leave early. And we are altering or modifying our early dismissal schedule by 20 minutes and making the day 20 minutes shorter, which gives us a 3-hour day, which is what we had last week when we did the slightly later delay. So we will be looking at the forecast early in the morning. If something does change and we decide that we need to close schools, we will certainly communicate that as quickly as possible in the morning to everyone. But based on the current forecast, we believe by doing a slightly shorter early dismissal, we'll be able to safely get our students home for the afternoon, because the greatest concern seems to be from forecasters and others for that afternoon evening commute. So that is the message that has gone out, and the information is out on our website with all of our school times for tomorrow and all the closures and events that are impacted by our decision tomorrow, as well as surrounding school divisions. So I thank the community and our board for your patience as we continue this winter weather. I just keep saying hopefully this will be the last one. So hopefully tomorrow will be the last winter weather experience. And that is all I have this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Brown.
The Poquoson Primary School students are busy getting back into their routines. With holiday break combined with a few snow days, Poquoson Primary students benefited from a review of behavior expectations. Teachers and staff also provided opportunities for students to practice their routines and behavior expectations in a supportive setting. The behavior trait recognized this past month was respect. Teachers and students reinforced respect as a critical trait of good citizenship criteria of this month's bucket filler breakfast. Students were selected as role models for their respectful behavior and celebrated by attending the bucket filler breakfast. The bucket fillers also had the opportunity to make good news phone calls home with Ms. Harper and Ms. Grisco. Lastly, the primary school is hosting 2 parent nights. Preschool teachers and student services will host an open house tomorrow, Wednesday, January 17th, from 6 to 7 p.m. Parents are invited to attend the open house and learn about the IPOP program and students' eligibility requirements. The kindergarten registration is on February 5th, 6 to 7 p.m., February 6th from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. Parents of rising kindergartners are encouraged to register their child for the 2018-2019 school year. Students must be 5 by September 30th, 2018 to attend kindergarten. The paperwork required for the registration includes a birth certificate, 2 forms of residency, an updated physical and immunization record, and parent identification. If you have questions about the IPOP open house or kindergarten registration, please call Poquoson Primary School for additional information. The elementary students are busy with many projects. Students are participating in wellness initiative Farm to Table, which involves students planting plants in the garden tower, which encourages students to plant seeds of vegetables and harvest these vegetables to eat with the help of the PES cafeteria staff. PES already has lettuce ready to harvest and enjoy eating. Poquoson Elementary School is participating in Virginia Reads One Book, which is a school-wide project centered around the book, The Lemonade Wars. All students will be receiving a copy of this book to keep and read at home with their family. Parents should keep their eyes open for more information about this school-wide project and all other exciting activities. Later this month, PES staff will be involved in math professional development to give teachers more tools and instructional strategies for math instruction, which supports better problem-solving skills in students. Teachers will also be participating in Hocus Pocus Focus, which is a professional development that focuses on organizational strategies that assist students in being more successful. Poquoson Middle School is preparing for exams and quarterly assessments. The first semester comes to an end. The PMS will host a spelling bee in the PMS auditorium. The winner of the spelling bee will continue on to Richmond for state qualification. Battle of the Classes preparation is underway as students are practicing to compete on Thursday, February 15th. Our student counselors will be meeting with students during the month of February to assist students with course selection for the upcoming year. Parent information nights will also be held for all grade levels, and all parents are encouraged to attend. Please check our website for dates and times. Our Take a Stand, Lend a Hand bullying prevention program concluding our focus on fairness for the second quarter, and will transition to trust for the third. Despite the interruption from Old Man Winter, the PHS Islanders continue to work hard. Students in our engineering courses have completed boat designs for the SNAM boat design contest, which entailed working in teams to design and build a viable vessel through real-world application of course concepts. Engineering students are now designing items for the International Space Station as a part of the NASA Hunch program competition. Our bullying awareness program continues to thrive as our anti-bullying committee met to develop the next bullseye lesson to be conducted in school-wide February. Our students jumped into learning last week, delivering DNA models, engaging in literacy circles, exploring economic geography, and much more. Outside the classroom, students auditioned for the spring musical, which will be The Addams Family. The show will be held April 26th through the 28th and is certain to be a weird and wonderful event for all to see. This past weekend, students met in all-district band audition, at the DECA competition, on the basketball court, and at the Virginia Duels Wrestling Tournament, and performing in the CNU Honor Band. As the first semester comes to a close, the students are encouraged to begin studying for their midterm examinations, which will occur January 23rd through the 26th. We are finishing our first semester strong and look forward to see what our second semester has in store.
Didn't they? Like, poor Curtis. You did a great job. Thank you, sir. Ms. Hope?
I have practiced all day, Madam Chairperson, looked up, I Googled it actually, know what to say at this moment, and I didn't realize it was going to change the chair so quick, so, but thank you for your help, Ms. Whitaker, this last month, making the transition work well. Often it's not the case when boards go through that kind of change, so I really help you. Thank you for your work, and glad we could help you out. Also want to say to Becky Morrison, thank you for that presentation tonight. As a vet myself, that touched me, and I remember as a very young naval officer, I got to escort the 95, 96-year-old naval aviator, one of the first 20 in the country, around one day, and it really changed my life. So I really appreciate what she's doing to our high school students for our vets. So thank you. That's all.
I'd like to thank all the students who presented tonight and congratulate Ms. Morrison as well on the success of her Veterans Project. It's clear that the students have a greater appreciation of the veterans and their sacrifice. I've also had the pleasure to work with Mike at PHS sporting events as well as Little League. And no one really understands the behind-the-scenes preparation he does. He's meticulous in making sure that names are pronounced correctly. Mine, 90% of the time, is pronounced wrong, so I do appreciate that. And he is certainly the voice of Poquoson. During the break, I did ask if we could add softball announcing to his busy schedule. He did chuckle and said, "We'll see." So I've got my fingers crossed for that. I'd also like to thank Steve Cast for his dedication to the board and wish him the best of luck in the future. Dr. Carter, I welcome you, and I look forward to working with you over the course of the terms. I'd also like to thank Bert and Brian for coming tonight from WHRO and sharing information about their online educational resources. I really enjoy sitting on the board, and the one thing I just would like to remind everybody is if they're interested in going and finding out more information, the website is www.emediava.org. emediava.org, and also to save the date for the spelling bee, which will be live February 17th at 2 p.m. Thank you. And
Awesome. Thank you. Ms. Helms?
Thank you. I just want to say everything.
I always make it easy for you.
Y'all do. You make it easy for me.
I took your notes. I admit
appreciate
it.
And Dr. Carter, I look forward to working with you on board.
I thought it was interesting to remember the last time that I saw you was in the concession stand as we were probably putting nachos together or hot dogs or whatever back in the day when Zach was a student.
A few years ago.
On the band. Yes, it was. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming. And I also wanted to say how much I appreciate the Poquoson school system, the administrators and the sponsors, including Lisa Hall, for making possible the continued exchange program with the Czech Republic. My daughter, Carrie, was in the first group that went to the Czech Republic on that trip. And the person that she stayed with ended up coming back and being kind of a part of our lives. She stayed with us here, and Teresa Zabajnikova went on to get a PhD in physics in the Czech Republic. And as we are a global economy, part of a world community, I think these personal relationships are so valuable, and I really appreciate all the that go together to make that possible for our students.
Wanted to welcome Dr. Carter as well on behalf of the board. Also, having been a former graduate of Poquoson City Schools, I at one point was high school senior of the month back in October of 2001. But the accolades, that these students are now, when presented, I'm not sure I would have been receiving that recognition. It seems like every one of our students are so talented in their own right. And that was certainly the case again this evening. So whoever is in charge of picking that student of the month, it seems like a very difficult task. But we've got so many bright students in our school system. So thanks so much.
I would like to thank the board and for doing all the behind the scenes stuff, like you were talking about the behind the scenes. There was an awful lot of just together to make that happen. So I really appreciate that. Last week or so, but my circumstances under which I had to less than stellar, and it was very difficult serving. I really did. I worked with some great people. I'm glad to be back, and I thank y'all for making that happen. I promise to do my best to lead. Also, and Mr. Holcomb, said you're an officer. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Oh, I see. I see.
So I love the presentation by Ms. Moore. During the break that we had, they were very excited. It's going on, and just kept talking. How they could meet and interact, and smart these people still were, even though one was in a wheelchair. So that was just an incredible experience. So thanks to students for putting on that presentation, and thank you to the vets. You are respected and you are appreciated. With that, we'll go into material for board review.
I have no comments. I have no comments.
You never did. For 7 years, you had no comments. See, I was going around.
I am not going to follow that. I'm not going to follow that. I have no comments tonight other than welcome back.
My apologies. I am so sorry.
That's
all right. Somebody want to fire me? I was coming right around. I'm sorry. Guys.
That's all right. That's all right. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Now, do we have any material for board review?
We do not this evening.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn to work session where we will discuss budget, recognition of graduates at graduation, and new matters for the board.